welcome to Chicago. Welcome to the S2G Summit. I'm here to set the context, so the agenda and then the why behind the agenda. We've very creatively said it's financing the transition, so no one has ever put those three words together, I'm sure. We don't just like any other economic transition throughout history, it's more than money, it's more than capital markets, and that's sort of the theme for today. But since we last met, the world continues to be volatile, disruptive, and historic. The last 12 months have not have been very true to that. We're at a global high. We're at an all-time high since the Cold War in global conflicts. We in the public markets, it's sort of noun, verb, adjective, AI. So equity capital markets continue to fund public companies that are focused in AI, and we also think it'll eventually show up in current events. That was a dad joke. AI has a lot of electricity needs. And as Rod Tidwell asked of Jerry Maguire, show me the money, LPs across asset classes have been asking their managers, show me the money, and they're just getting shown love. And the lack of exits and DPI has caused a risk-off environment, particularly in venture and growth, and I know that's impacted a lot of people in this room. And then finally, the last ones, we crossed 8 billion people on the planet. We finally hit a J-curve as humans. Many of us have probably enjoyed it, at least initially, but the thermodynamic bill has come due. So from 1960 to today, we've gone from 3 billion to 8 billion. So this is our 7th S2G Summit. Each year, it's a moment for us to reflect on the opportunity and the risks. I think we've noted since 2019, we're moving from an era of moderation to an era of volatility. The VIX has basically doubled since 2019 in the past 30 years. In our areas of focus, energy, food and ag, oceans, there's been significant volatility and inflation, 255% increase in PPI since 1982, driven by hydrocarbon pricing. Just as we're moving from an era, we think, of moderation to volatility, the last 30 years are not going to be like the next 30 years. Humanity is going through, we think, 4 major transitions. Increased digitalization, which is going to lead to increase in energy, a widening demographic deficit, both a 10 billion people planet, as well as an aging workforce and population that's going to have tremendous impact on both healthcare liability, pension liability, and of course, productivity. Significant volatility in geopolitics, and a very complex capital market environment in terms of the massive amounts of debt and deficits and a historic wealth transfer from one generation to another. We believe that you need to understand these 4 transitions and others at a systems level. They need to be underwritten and understood at a systems level, particularly not just the first order, but the second order and third order in innovation and business model innovation, in incumbent behavior, in how consumers and policies think about these transitions, as well as capital markets. A case study here is a hardware-driven digitalization that's occurred really the last 20, 30 years. It's created enormous wealth and changed many industries forever. But when you look at it from at the seams at the systems level, there are trends that are in the second and third order that have had significant frictions today. There are impacts in the second and third order that provide tremendous opportunities. Our addiction to smartphones has led to an addiction to magnets and rare earths. And now it's put the risk of the US-China relationship really at the core of the digitalization revolution. Similarly, the second and third order impacts have really democratized innovation and invention, as well as created a new media landscape to influence and disrupt consumer behavior. Just as sort of these multiple transitions are occurring and having an impact on our economy, humans are transitioning Earth. Although not formally declared the age of Anthropocene, a 10 billion people planet requires 1.7 Earths of thermodynamic demand for food, for energy, for water, and basic human needs. And so the signals that the planet's also sending is not encouraging. It's not a 2030 thing, it's not a 2050 thing. There's 3.2 million climate migrants today in America. 40% of land surface is degraded today. And so the urgency of this has never been stronger. In this age of Anthropocene, we think has been driven by a commodity system that's going to be increasingly under pressure from external forces. The commodity system today, the calories, the electron, the energy density, and all the things that provide humans' basic needs, is under significant volatility. It's highly financialized and subject to market volatility and speculation. It's also very vulnerable to geopolitical shocks and economic events. And the second and third order technology advancements like AI are just starting to impact the current commodity system. And so if you look back at the commodity system for the last 10,000 years, from agriculture to industrialization to the 20th century, this has been the flow, the mass balance of how we eat, how we power our homes, our mobility, and take care of our basic needs. It starts with primary energy, goes to secondary, and really this journey is about taking useful energy and converting it to useful materials. That is the transition. We've mechanized it, we've used hydrocarbons to power it, and now we think that this commodity system is under significant challenge, as I mentioned before. We have the opportunity, the physics advancements, the biology advancements, the chemical advancements, to make this more efficient, more affordable, less volatile, and more resilient to external shocks, like geopolitical or climate. As we know, 60% of energy used for electricity is lost as heat. So when we think about the current commodity system, we do believe a 21st century commodity system is available, and that's what we're going to talk a lot about today. We made progress. So in renewables, wind and solar and others have gotten more competitive, and I think we're moving in a similar direction in biochemicals. This 21st century commodity system that we want, that's more efficient, more affordable, more resilient, and less volatile, will, we believe, require operating at the seams. If you want cleaner calories, you need to understand clean electrons. If you want cleaner oceans that regulates less weather volatility to farmers, you need to understand the energy density of shipping and energy density in general. And successful transitions have occurred before. We've done this for the last 10,000 years, and we'll be doing it in some shape or form for the next 30 years. But we believe it takes these four ingredients: deep engagement with industry, Aaron mentioned this a lot, community and storytelling, innovation and business model innovation, and changing capital markets. And it's really understanding these four ingredients at the seams of these three sectors. And so we've done it before. So steam replaced sail as an innovation and had significant disruption. Shale not only unlocked natural gas, but impacted the future of the coal industry in the US, as we know. Understanding consumer and policy shifts are very important. Consumers, based on distrust of conventional agriculture, founded or not, drove the growth of the organic agriculture sector. 9/11 and the search for energy security led to policy choices that led to the growth of the biofuel industry. These were folks that influenced citizens, consumers, policymakers, and story told, and made these shifts happen. We fund speedboats. We hope they become medium ships, but this industry and these sectors are dominated by tanker ships. And we need to engage with them. They will determine the speed and scale of this. They've got the balance sheets, the operating expertise, and the credibility to see that change. Finally, we have a $400 trillion global capital market system, and we need to figure out how we anchor more capital to this area. We've done it before in telecom, and I think we can do it again in other sectors. So that is the theme of the day. We're going to talk about how we engage with industry incumbents, how we storytell and build community, how we think about innovation, and more importantly, or as importantly, business model innovation, and how we change capital markets. So thank you for being here. Hopefully you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll learn, you'll go to sleep on this couch after I talk.
With that, let's get started.